we have spent fairly decent amount of time on doing that, right? So this is how you do. This is how you interact with database. This is how you get set data from the database and to the database, right? Now,
That's right.
this is not just the only class that you have in ServiceNow. Glide Record is not just the only class, right? You have you have plenty of other classes,
Yeah.
plenty of other uses of these kind of scripts in ServiceNow that we must see, right? One of the other classes that we must see is the glide form. Have we talked about it? Have we discussed glide form?
No, we didn't.
We
No, we
haven't,
didn't.
right? So
Yeah.
glide form is probably the most relevant class that we should be learning at this point. And let's do this. And in the meantime, we discuss glide form. We'll try to find out slot for UI action as well, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So glide form is, as the name suggests, glide form is again, it's a Java class that you have, and you know that Java class created by ServiceNow, and the purpose of having glide form is to deal with form elements, right? So if you are to customize your forms, and then if you want to access the fields, etc., from the form, and if you want to get set values, if you want to put some messages, we have slightly used it. For example, if we wanted to remember when we wanted to put a message on the marketing event application, and so
Right.
we use g underscore form dot add info message or g underscore form dot add error message, right? So I'll show you where we have done that, and that's a place where we have used the glide form. Um, Let me go here, and I'll use client script. We don't have client script. Probably it's in UI policy. No, UI policy will not have that. No, UI actions. Haven't we haven't done that. No problem. I think it's in my instance.
Yeah, I remember we did that for customizing something in our form, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So yeah, these messages that you see here, right? These are the form level messages that you have, and these form level messages where we used it using the glide form classes. Let me see where that is. Not this one. There is one use of glide form here, but we haven't used it much here.
G.form. Yeah.
Hide related tasks. That should be on load of it, right? So on load, on load, on load. No, that is coming from somewhere else. We'll have to see where it is coming from. No, so the idea is to understand how we can use the glide form object and glide form class, and what are the methods that we should be using from the glide form, right? So I'm taking you to the glide form wiki page, and we'll pick the methods from there and we'll try to use it. All right.
Okay.
Now see, again it says GlideForm.js is the JavaScript class used to customize form, right? Customizing form is, let's say, you have it here. You have it here. Let me see,
Yeah, we
configure.
implemented that.
Right, related list. It will open up.
We use G underscore for.
You're using set label here. Oh, this is task. No, we don't have to use task. This one, this is the one. Show message.
Social message.
You have these two messages here, right? So one is
Yeah.
the alert message from JavaScript. Another one is GForm object that you have used, and you are using show field message and add info message functions.
Right.
These two functions are delivering to you the messages here, right? So that's what we are doing. So GlideForm, what we can do, we can use GlideForm to do display settings. We can use the GlideForm to get the field information, to set field information on the form, to change field, the change choice list values, to do some to get some form information and to do some form actions, right? So we'll be
Right.
using these whenever we have these kind of requirement on forms, right?
Yeah.
These methods are used to make custom changes to the view of records. All validation of example was done using client script, right? Some of these methods can also be used in other client scripts such as catalog client scripts or wizard client scripts, but must be first tested to determine whether they will work as expected, right? Now, let's get some example. The best example, the simplest example that we should start with is set display, right? Um, there are three functions that I'm going to use right now. Let me first pick up this the field, which is type, and if what I want to do is, see, when we have this equipment request here, if it is a new request, you get the type field as blank one, right? But if it is
Yeah.
an old request and you are opening this up, and you have
This is a valid.
something filled in here, let's do one thing. Let's try to customize this and let's try to make it read only, right? And you know, let's try to make it read only, and let's try to make it mandatory as well using the script, right? So that is
Yeah.
something that is going to be our objective for this one, right? I'm going to use this show message method, and I'll be using within this show message those functions, right? So I know that the field name is type, so I'll write gform.get value. Get value is the function to get the value of the field from the form, right? Using the form label, the field label,
Yeah.
right? So here the
Right.
label in this case is type, right? So I am saying get the value of the form field from the form, and if it is blank, right? If get form.value is blank, let's do it not blank. If it is not blank, then probably what we'll do is we'll do gform dot get set read only, right? If it is not blank, we'll set read only, and we'll name the field as because it expects two parameters. So I am going to name the field type and I am going to make it true. So this way what will happen is the type field on the form will become a read-only field if it has certain values, right? If in case it does not have any value, then it will not do anything to it. It will leave it as editable. But if it has certain value, I'm going to set it as read-only, right? And this is done on onload. This should be done on onload. So I'm taking this out from here and I'm going to put it on some onload function, because onload activity I'm going to check. Onload event I'm going to check if it is going to, if it is having the value there or it is not having the value there. All right. So I'm going to create a new client script. Equipment request load. Again, scoping issue. I need to be in the marketing application scope. So it looks like your instance is slow. Instance. So we now have marketing events here. So I'm going to do equipment request load or something. Let's do it on load. Right, and I'm going to do on load. And here I'm going to put this. Right?
Okay.
Right? Very simple. You are getting the value of the getting the value of type, checking if it is blank or not. If it is not blank, if it is
then make it read
not,
only.
yeah, if it is not blank, make it read only.
Yeah.
Let's go back to equipment request and try to open it. When we open it, it's blank. We are doing nothing.
Blank.
We are doing nothing. Go back. We are going to open a record where we have type equals office furniture. If I open it, see, this becomes
Oh,
read
become
only.
read only.
Read only.
We can't
Right.
change this.
Right. Right.
Yep.
So this is one of the functions from the glide form class, right? Remember, when we talked about glide form definition, we talked about glide form is a class that you use to customize the form UI, right?
Right.
If you are to change the display value, or if you had to change those, values on the form, what object you should be using, what class you should be using. You should be using glide form if you are to play with the display fields on a form, right? So
Yeah.
that's something that we should be doing, right? Now
Right.
let's go back and let's put something. Right. This is the one I'm going to do client script and equipment request download, and then I'm going to put let's put a else condition. Here we are checking if the type field is blank or not, and then I'm going to put a else condition, and I'm going to put g underscore form dot set value, and I'm going to put field name as type, and I'm going to put a sample text. Input equipment type here, right? And I'm going to put a semicolon here, and I'm going to update this one. After updating, I can go back here, and when I open this, see, you have an input equipment type text here. You understand what we did?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Let
onload.
me see that. Input scheme. Okay. Aha. If not, it will take this value, input
Yeah.
equipment type text.
Right. If it is not blank, if it is
If it is
blank,
blank, I mean, yeah, if it is blank.
put a help text or something and say input equipment type here. Right. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm doing. Right. And now you can go put your value, save it, and do it. Whatever you want to do with the form. Right. So the idea is, if you want to set values on the form, right? For example, let's assume that the default cost that you want to put into the cost field is $100, right? So I can go ahead and put g underscore form and set value, and the field name is cost, and I'm going to put value as $100, right? And this is, let me see the field name one more time, which is cost, right? And this is because you want to give your users a pre-filled form, right? So if you want to do that, you can set some values on the form and leave it for the user to create the record, right? So that's a way of doing that. If you want to put some default values on the form, if or actually we are setting a value into the field, the cost field and the type field, right?
Yeah.
So to set the values in the cost and type field, what we are doing is we are doing gform.set value, right? Now you can see
That'll
that
be
we have
default.
100 here. Yeah, so this becomes default value. You have 100 here, you have input equipment type here, right? So you have both the values, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's about. Let me copy this for you, and although you have it within your instance, but I'm going to
Yeah.
put it here on the list. So I'll put it here. I'll do, let's say, 18 g underscore form get set value. Okay, comma get set read only, right?
Yeah.
Now there's one more method that we should be using. Let's assume that I am getting rid of this line, right? I don't want to put any default value in the type field, right? And when I come here on the equipment request, I put 100 value here, and I put a LinkedIn event, and then I put the date field values, and then I put another date value, and I'm going to submit this. Right? When I submit this, a record has been created, and let me see. This type is coming as empty, right?
Right.
So there was no validation that we put on there, right? Right?
Yeah.
So if you want
We
to
might.
put a validation on the form,
Like the
may-
type should be mandatory, right?
right. So there is another method for that one. If you go into the client script, unload, we are going to play with the unload script, and I'm going to make the type field a mandatory field. right? And how to make a field mandatory is something there in the glide form class, and you have a function known as set mandatory. And within set mandatory, what you can do is you can put the field name here, and then you can make it as true, right? Right? So this is the simple way of making a field mandatory. Put a GForm, put a set mandatory, put the field name, and make it true, right? So this way, irrespective of irrespective of the field having values into the field, right? What you are doing is you are making it a mandatory field, right? And then now let's save it. Let's go back. If I go back on equipment request and I click new,
Yeah.
100 is here. See, you have a star mark here because this becomes mandatory item, right?
Could you
So
go back again for the code? Let me.
I'll go back to the code.
Yeah,
So
one more time.
sure. So see, if I go to submit this, it will not allow me to do that. It will put a message of its own.
Mandatory field are not field
Right.
type.
So
Yeah.
it says
That's
on
nice.
its own, it will say that it's a mandatory type. Right. Let's go back to the code. It's a simple one-liner. One-liner.
Yeah. Let me see. G dot form set value. No,
No,
it's not.
g dot g form dot
G
set
dot form
mandatory.
set mandatory type true. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Got it.
Very
G dot
simple.
form.
So I'll put it here. 19
Ah.
set mandatory, and this is what you need to do. All right. Set mandatory, G form, set mandatory field name, and you mark it as true or false. Right.
Yep.
Now, um, now since this takes a Boolean value, it can also take false in here, right? By
Oh yeah.
default,
Yeah.
the fields are not mandatory, right? So
Yep.
if no Boolean value is supplied, or if this statement is missing on the code, so it means that the field is optional field,
That's true.
right? But there could be cases where, depending upon the type of actions the user does, you might want to switch a field from a mandatory field to an optional field, right? For example, um, if on the form, if you have to put a condition, for example, this one, um, when we put the marketing event, right, we must have the needed from and needed until, right? And these needed from and needed until become mandatory field, right? But if this field Dallas, if this marketing event is not filled, so those fields disappear and those become optional, right? Although we have
Yeah.
done that, although we have done that from UI policy, which is the best way to do that because that's cost effective in the terms of the time that it takes to process that request is less on the UI policies, so you should be using that. But you can do that using the client script as well, right? So if you
Okay.
have to
Yeah.
make any field conditionally mandatory or optional, you can use set mandatory and then you can put true, false, the Boolean values according to the requirement. All right.
Yeah.
Let's look into other methods. Um, if I go here, all equipment request, and I open this, I get this message, right? Um,
Yeah.
these messages are coming from a client script.
That we put earlier.
right, that we put earlier. This one, show message. Right, so here we are putting these messages, but let's assume you don't want to. If you have messages of this short, but then you want to hide these messages at some point. For example, if I put it here, so after it displays these messages, it will actually clear the field messages on the form, right? Let's see what it what it does. I'll go to the equipment request and I'll open one office furniture request. The alert message popped, these messages popped, and hide field messages. Okay, I left one thing there. So see, I have two messages here. One is info message, another one is field message. Let me try to do one more time. This shows the alert. This shows this. It should have removed one of these messages. Provide type clear only info. Let me see the syntax of it. It actually hides the messages that you have put here. So we can provide the type of the messages that you want to hide. This one is info or error. The spelling is correct, so it should work. Hide field messages, reload form. We have one info message, we have g underscore form dot hide.
Related.
So this is another example. It should work. I don't know why it is not working. I'll look into why this hide all field messages is not working. So let me comment it here. So this is supposed to hide this info message. If I put this info, this is supposed to hide this info message. So this can be used in the situation. For example, let's say you are working on a form and that form had several validations attached to it, right? And when you submit the form, you show so many messages on the form, and then you want to clear some of these messages which are not relevant, right? So for that purpose, you could use hide all field messages and give the type of it, for example, the info or error. So whatever type you want to hide, you can do that, right? But it's not working somehow, so I'll look into why it is not working and come back to you, right? So however, let's go and use this gform.hide related list. So here on this form we don't have any related list, so we'll have to find out any form where we have that related list that we are showing, and then we can, yeah, this is the one, right? On the marketing events we have this related list. So let's try to do this. Hide related list. If we use hide related list, it hides all related lists on the form. So I'm going to save this one, and because there is no related list on this form, and I'm going to create a new client script which is for marketing event. See, we have a attachment related list here.
Yeah.
I'm going to use a client script. And the client script is hide lists, and I'm going to use onload, and I'm going to put this hide related list. Right, whenever you load it, you want to hide the related list on the form, right? So marketing event, click on Arlington. You do not have the related list now. You see that?
Yep. Yep.
So on the form, you have that list, but you don't want to see that list from the form. So then you will use hide related list and get rid of that, right? Now,
Yeah. Right.
now let's go back one more time. I'm going back to configure client script, hide list, and I'm going to comment it for a moment. I'll update it. We'll go back to marketing events, and I'll try to add some more related list to it, and then selectively remove one of the list. So let's put that here too. So we have now two related lists on the form. One is attachment, another one is equipment request, right? I don't want to show this attachment, right? So what I can do is I can selectively selectively put what related list you do not want to show, right? So here you have to pass an argument which is list table name, right? You know that you do not want to show this attachment. So what you need to do is you need to go into the attachment tables and find out the name of the table as attachment table, right? If you are, you understand that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to tables and columns. I'm going to find the attachment table. This is sys attachment, and I'm going to put sys underscore attachment. I'm going to close this, right? And see, there is a good feature of this scripting editor that we have here. Good features. What are these? See, if you want to do indentation, it does it for you.
Yeah.
You have this
It,
format
it
code
does.
button.
Yeah.
If you want to do
Yeah.
syntax check, you can do syntax check, toggle
Okay.
syntax check.
Mm-hmm.
This saves for you, right? And you have, if you are searching something, you can go to the next search result, previous search result. You can use these buttons, right? Start searching and replace all, format code, toggle comment, and this is for syntax highlighting. So you have all these features available in this editor, which gives you
Yeah.
enough. And plus it has IntelliSense as well, right? For example,
Yeah. It
I
has
type
intelligence. Yeah.
if I type in G form and then I do
And
dot, I'll see all the
and
list
then
of
the
items
intelligence
available
comes.
and
Yeah.
related help. Now let's go
Right.
back to marketing application, and I'm going to marketing events, and within this marketing events I'm going to open a record, a LinkedIn. It should remove the sys attachment table. It should remove the attachments from here. Um, Let me see, hide related list. hides a specified related list on the form. Oh, use a sys ID to hide a list through a relationship. So we need to get the sys ID for that table. All right. So
Yeah.
tables and columns. I think the table is sys underscore db underscore objects dot list. You remember the table of tables?
The table of tables?
Yeah.
Not that one. I
Right.
remember the table. Yeah.
Sysdb object is the table of tables. Sys,
Oh,
sys
let me.
this table. If you remember, um, we talked about select
Uh,
star from tab from Oracle, and then we talked about there is one table that contains records of all the table available in ServiceNow. So this table, this is the table.
okay.
The table that we have here in this case is
Yeah.
sys underscore db underscore object. Right.
Object.
So if you do sys underscore db underscore object dot list,
Mm.
it will list out all the tables contained in the ServiceNow environment, right? So it gives you
Oh.
2,389 tables. Right. Now I am to look into attachment
Mm.
table. When I go into the attachment table, the name of the table is attachment, sys attachment. I need to copy the
Mm.
sys ID of it because that is required
Mm.
into the scripting. I'm going
Mm.
to client script, hide list, and then as suggested on wiki, I have to use the sys ID of this table so that I can hide that related list from there. Right, so I
Mm.
am using sys ID of that table. Let's see if it is doing that for us. It is still not doing that for us. Okay, so that is interesting. This
Mm.
should hide this attachment related list and leave the equipment request related list there. I'm on the
Okay.
same. All right, let me put this as well on the list and see why it is not working. Right, so I have two
Mm.
items now that I will look into,
Okay. All right.
and let me put that hide related list lists here on the list. G underscore form dot set mandatory G underscore form dot hide.
Related list.
So this hides all of the hide all the related lists from the form. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So this is it. Other interesting methods that you have here is get label off. For example,
Okay.
if I go into here, if I go into the marketing events application and
Mm.
I open up this form, see the field name is start underscore date,
Mm.
right? And the field label is start space date, right?
Mm.
So let's assume that from the code you want to get the field label of the field which is start underscore date, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a message here g underscore form dot show field message, and within that you are going to put the field label for start underscore date is equals, and then I'm going to append g underscore form dot get label of, and I'm going to put the field name as start underscore date. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So very simple script that I want to put here. I want to get the field name, field label of the start underscore field, a date field, right? And I want to do it during the runtime. It looks less relevant to do right now in this example, but this will be a this could be used at a later point in time, right? So
Yeah.
let me go back to marketing events. Where did I write that script? It's on the marketing event onload. Show field message.
Get label it. Start date.
Alright, so it now shows you the field label, which is start space date.
Yeah.
Well, I think I wrote something wrong on the client script. So show field message.
Okay. It simply alert the start date, right?
Right.
Show.
It should show this.
Yeah, it showed that one. Yeah. That's alert.
Alright, so this is not putting that field message here. Looks like I'm doing something wrong. Anyways, so what it gives you is the label of the field start date, right? And the label of the field is start at space date, right? So it gives you, so this is the method that we are talking about to get the label of the field. Let's go back here. 21. Get the label of the field and dynamically, and for that you do this, right? I write dynamically because you are doing it using the code during the runtime,
Right.
right? So you have this get label off, right? So this is it for today. Let's close this one. We have plenty of more methods available in GForm.
Right.
We'll be doing it tomorrow. In the meantime,
Okay.
keep practicing what we are doing in the sessions.
Yeah, I will. A little bit. I will remain with the glide record system. Yeah, and then I'll continue looking into the today's lesson. Yeah.
Sure. So let me
To the
see.
G4,
Let me see.
the glide form.
I sent you 2 emails, right?
When yesterday or now?
Let me copy it all and then I'll
Let me
send it to.
see. Yeah.
I'm
Yesterday, yeah, you did. The code part,
yeah
the script part,
yeah.
yeah,
So
and the
I'm
video.
pasting
Okay.
all of it here, and I'm sending it.
Okay. Great.
All right, Michael. Thank
All
you.
right, Ron. Thank you.